All right, in 8.5, number 29, they want us to solve these equations. And again, they've set the y equal to 0 down here. That's one of a hint that that's what they're wanting us to do. But they actually tell us that in the directions. Solve each equation given the two indicated roots. Hint, perform the process illustrated in example 4 twice. All right, if you flip back over to example 4, what they're doing is you're taking the root, and these are roots, they're solutions, so when I list my solutions, I'm going to list those numbers in it because they actually have given me two solutions, and what they want me to do is just to keep breaking this expression down until I can find all the solutions. So what we kind of do is we do synthetic division using one of the roots, and then we'll use another root to do synthetic division, and we'll have it broken down, and then we'll look at it and say, okay, well, where do we go from here? Probably what's going to happen is when we do this, we'll have it down to an x squared kind of term where we could factor it or use the quadratic formula or something. So let's get started. I'm going to start by just picking -1 first. So I'm going to do synthetic division with -1, and remember what I get here will be what we would do if we would divide this -1 out, which is really x plus 1. So it's going to break it down from a 4th degree to a cube. So if you remember, let's check all of our exponents. We have a 4, a 3, a 2, an invisible 1, and a constant. So we got all of our terms here. And so I'm going to put a 1 because there's an invisible 1 in front of the x to the 4th term. So it's 1, -3, -8, +12, and +16. 4, 3, 2, 1 constant. Okay. So we bring the 1 down. -1 times 1 is -1. -3 plus -1 is -4. -4 times -1 is a +4. -8 plus 4 is -4. -4 times -1 is a +4. 12 plus 4 is 16. -1 times 16 is a -16, and 16 plus -16 is 0. Now, we knew we should get a 0 there because they told us this was a root or a solution. Remember, roots and solutions and x-intercepts and zeros, they're all the same thing, just different words for the same thing. So we expected this to happen. Now, if you think about it, what I really got here is now it's down to 1x cubed minus 4x squared minus 4x plus 16. But you know what? What I'm going to do now is go ahead and do synthetic division again, and I'm going to now I'm going to look at this, what we had here, and I'm going to use those because I've broken it down once by taking out the factor x plus 1. That's when I did the synthetic division with -1. And this is what's left. So we're going to write what's left down now. So there's a 1x cubed minus 4x squared minus 4x and 16. And they told us that another root was 4. Another solution is 4. So if I take this, if you think about it, that would be a factor of x minus 4. So if I take this out of it, it'll break it down even further. So here we go. Drop down our 1. 4 times 1 is 4. -4 and 4 is 0. 0 times 4 is 0. -4 and 0 is -4. -4 times 4 is -16. 16 plus -16 is 0. And again, we knew that's the remainder right there. That means it divided in evenly, which that's what it's supposed to do if it's a solution, right? So now what do we have left? Well, we had broken it from an x to the 4th down to an x cubed, and so now what we've got is actually an x squared is our largest term. So that's a 1x squared plus 0x minus 4. Okay? So now I'm going to keep breaking this down. But now if I look at this, do I really want to do synthetic division? I could factor, I could do square root, I could do quadratic formula, or I can use synthetic division. Those are all things that we know we can do. Well, this is a pretty easy one if you think about it. It's 4. Oops, sorry. We already have some listed solutions of -1 and 4. Well, if you're setting that equal to 0, you could do whatever you want to do, but this factors into x minus 2, x plus 2. You could have also moved the 4 to the other side and taken square roots if you wanted to. Either way is going to get it pretty quickly. If you set each factor equal to 0, you're going to get 2 more answers. You're going to add 2 here. We'd get x equal 2 from this one, and from over here, if we subtract 2 from both sides, we get x equal -2. So the other solutions are 2 and -2. Now, we always write them from smallest to greatest, so we'll put the -2, and then the -1, and then the 2, and the 4. That would list our solutions in order from smallest to greatest. By the way, if I wanted to now, I could write that equation out in factored form. And again, this is the answer. This is what they wanted you to do in the book. But what do those tell me? They tell me if I really wanted to factor this whole thing out, remember it would be an x, that minus 2 would have come from an x plus 2. The minus 1 would actually be from an x plus 1. The 2 would come from an x minus 2. And the 4 would come from an x minus 4. This is what that original expression was if we factored it out. So you could, this tells me the solutions. It also helps me find the factors if I need them for some reason.